Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, brothers and sisters. This is your brother Asif Hussein. Yet again on the drive home, or the drive through, or the drive time. That's it, the drive time. This is the drive time session. That's what I'm going to call it, the drive time vlogging. So yes, brothers and sisters, another day today. And what can I discuss and talk about today? What has happened that is of interest to you that I can share with you? And this is coming off right off the cuff of my kind of like head, or my whatever you want to call it. So I'm just trying to think right now while I'm driving what I can talk about very briefly in the next 5 to 10 minutes, inshallah. So what's been going on? I'm just trying to think about things in general and what I can address. Nothing is coming to me at the moment. I am trying to generate some kind of great idea for you, or great thought for you. Okay, so let's look at relationships. Relationships, in particular marriage. Now, for those of you that experience separation and divorce, you know how difficult the process is and how hard it is, and especially if you have young children involved in that process, it makes it even more harder. And in the worst case scenario is young kids who are denied access to other partners, whether it be the father, the mother, whoever has custody of the children. There's always a backdrop, there's always a reality behind every story. Nothing's ever black and white, and unfortunately we live in times where, due to the circumstances and the reality of why the separation took place, why two people separated and moved away from each other, normally when there's children involved, they get caught up in the crossfire. I am speaking from experience. I have experienced this. I've gone down this road. I know exactly what it's like. So when I'm speaking about this issue, please do not think that I'm ignorant of this matter. I have had my own experience, which is not relevant to disclose in this vlog, but the point is that I've had an experience, and it's important to maybe share some reflections in the aftermath. I think now the reality is my children now are teenagers, mashallah, and I can only speak from my own experiences, that the reality is that this separation and the whole process and the contact and the collaboration or non-collaboration of the two partners, or two parties involved, being the mother and the father, it greatly impacts the minds of the young children. Depending on what age they're at, what stage they're at in their life, it affects them. So I think more than anything, what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to present to you is that, if you are in a situation and this relationship that you're in is not working out, you have children involved, and you are maybe looking at, God forbid, not that I'm encouraging you in any way, but if you're going through separation, divorce, and you have young children and the whole issue of access, custody, or amicable kind of agreements between two parties, if that's all going on, then I want to share some words of wisdom with you. I want to share my thoughts on this matter. I think first and foremost, as parents who have disputes, have issues between themselves, these issues should remain within yourselves, not at the cost of your children. I think it's important that your children, as much as they are impacted and affected, but they have minimum damage. So that means two responsible adults actually consider them before they think of themselves. And this is going out to the brothers and the sisters. At the end of the day, your collaboration, your communication will normalize those children as much as possible. Those children of yours are going to suffer. They are going to have the biggest suffering that will take place in their lives. I mean, they have lost two towers of their pillars of strength, or pillars of emotional support in their lives: their mother, their father, two people that represent safety, comfort, anything positive that a child can think of. they've lost this unit. They've the very foundations of their home have been split apart. It's a traumatic moment in their lives. It's a huge, immensely huge trauma crisis in the lives of the children. And what you need to be thinking about is safeguarding their lives and safeguarding their emotional and psychological development, because let me tell you, they will be impacted, and the course of time and the journey that you have, this will have massive scars. These young children who will eventually become adults, and they will lead lives, eventually shall marry and raise their own children. So this process is as hard, as painstaking, and as hard as the process is. There's a reason why Islam in itself, gives respect, gives honor to people. That if two people cannot work things out, if two people cannot stay together in a marriage, then with some respect and honor you separate. But that separation has its own commitments and responsibilities, that you fulfill the rights of your children. Forget about your own predisposition, forget about your own wounds, forget about your own pains, forget about what she did, he did, and how he spoke and how she spoke, and what he said and what their family said, and etc., etc. You have to put all these issues aside, because this is not a matter that is as trivial as that. This is not an issue about you and how you feel and how you've been hurt and how you've been mistreated. That's an offshoot of life, I guess. It's an offshoot of being in a relationship. That's an offshoot of being an adult. But your children didn't do anything. They didn't deserve this. They didn't have a say in this. So it's important that you concentrate your focus on them, and they become a priority in this process. And your time is divided between them as much as you can. Things will never be normal. Those children will be affected and impacted, but it's how you normalize that process and how you create some kind of cushion for them to deal with it. That means you both step it up. That means you both take equal responsibility, and you don't leave your child yearning for the need of one parent over the other, and one parent takes the responsibility and the burden of dealing with all these issues in light of the other partner playing an inactive role or a lesser role during this time. Because that's what happens a lot of the time. One parent tries to compensate the other parent's deficiencies, but it's critical for the parent that is involved and actively involved to bring that other parent back on board, to work with that individual, to bring them back in line, so they are having an impact and influence upon the lives of these children. Of course, naturally, adults move on, they get remarried, but what is fundamental is that to do the least damage on the children is that both parents are still engaging with the children. They are, if you can have a scenario where there's equal distribution of time and effort made with the children, that is an ideal scenario. If it's the reality that maybe the mother has the majority of the custody and she plays a heavy role in the development of the children, that the father plays an active role as much as possible. So that's going to be based on each reality. If somebody's working, is working 9 to 5, is committed, and only has weekends available, those weekends need to be dedicated and devoted to those children. It's not about you just making time for yourself and having time for yourself, neglecting your obligations and responsibilities. That you have to find time within your busy schedule. You have to make time in your busy schedule, not find time. You have to make time in your busy schedule to fit that in. And I understand politics of families, households, and I get all that. I understand when you have an extended family involved in the process that people have an opinion and they influence a lot of things that happen and the way things turn out. But I think, if you're the mother and the father of these children, you need to take priority and you need to ensure that they are being safeguarded. It doesn't matter how much influence grandparents, uncles and aunties can have. They cannot replace the mother and the father in this parenting process, they have to be actively involved. If you've got one member of the relationship inactive, not being involved, is completely neglectful of his or her responsibilities and remits, then that's an unfortunate circumstance. That's an unfortunate situation that sometimes is out of your control. And no matter how much you try, you can't bring this person to fulfill that responsibility. That may have been the reason why your marriage broke down. Unfortunately, you have to do the best that you can do in those circumstances, trying to raise your children in the most appropriate environments as possible. They will unfortunately lose out on certain things, but what you do is what you can do, and you influence what you can influence, and that's the best that you can do. The rest is in Allah's hands, and inshallah, Allah knows best, and Allah does best for all of His creation, and that's what you make dua for. But if there's amicability there, if there's an eagerness and a show of wanting to help and be involved, then so be it. They should be involved as an active member. If they can take kids for their holidays, weekends, then that's the way it should be. That's how it should be. This is the ideal scenario, that children have as much contact as they want with kids. And when children want to see one parent over the other, that parent should be present and made available. And if not made available, then at the nearest possible time present themselves, because fulfilling the rights of the children is really important. It's critical. We will all be accountable on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and if a parent is not fulfilling his or her responsibility to that child will complain to Allah on the day of judgment, that where was my mother, where was my father when I needed him or her? They did not fulfill their roles, and these will be held against us. And as a Muslim, this should be a reminder that we shouldn't take these affairs in a casual manner, but rather we should see the bigger picture of where this will ultimately take us, and the impact that it has upon our children, their psychology, the future of our children. This is what we need to stabilize and normalize. This is very critical. So we need to be mature about it. We need to be more accountable, and we need to take stock and responsibility of these things. As much as it painstakingly, sometimes it requires you to do things that takes you out of your comfort zone, because you feel, oh well, why should I do this for so and so? She's the reason why, or he's the reason why I'm here or there. You have to put these petty issues aside, and if you're a God-fearing individual, and you know that you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one day, and you will be judged one day, then inshallah you will make the right choices based upon what is within your remit and your obligations. This is a subject that can go on for some time. I understand that, as there's so much depth to each reality and each situation, and I guess a 10-minute, 15-minute vlog is never going to do any justice on this issue. You may have your own problems and realities. You may have your own views. Please share your comments. Feel free. But ultimately, and first and foremost, the sanctity and the preservation of your children is really key. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you for listening.